What if I told you that right now, while you're watching this, Las Vegas is experiencing the greatest collapse in its 80-year history? Not from recession, not from scandal, but from something hiding in plain sight: your phone. The strip that once pulled in 40 million visitors annually is hemorrhaging billions to an enemy it never saw coming. Online gambling isn't just competing with Vegas, it's systematically destroying everything that made Sin City matter. And the number one reason why: it has nothing to do with money and everything to do with human nature. Number 10. Convenience ended the magic. The simplest reason Vegas is dying might also be the most devastating. Gambling got too easy. Think about what Vegas used to represent. It wasn't just about placing bets, it was about the pilgrimage, the anticipation that built as your plane descended over the desert, the first glimpse of neon cutting through darkness, the weight of chips in your hand. That entire ritual, that ceremony of sin, has been replaced by a 2-second login on your phone. Today's gambler doesn't need to book flights 3 months in advance or save vacation days. They don't pack special outfits or plan which shows to catch between blackjack sessions. They tap an app while waiting for coffee. They place bets during commercial breaks. They spin slots while pretending to work from home. The friction that once made gambling feel special has been completely eliminated. Vegas was built on effort, on earning the experience. You had to commit. You had to invest time, money, and energy just to reach the tables. That investment made every hand feel meaningful. Every pull of the slot machine carried weight because you'd traveled across the country for this moment. Now, players can lose $1,000 between Zoom meetings without even changing out of their pajamas. The data tells the story. In 2019, the average Vegas visitor spent 4.6 days and $827 just to be there before placing a single bet. Today, online platforms report the average session lasts 23 minutes. No airports, no security lines, no checking in at 3 p.m. to find your room won't be ready until 5. Just instant, frictionless access to every game Vegas offers, minus everything that made Vegas special. When everything becomes instant, even sin loses its thrill. The forbidden fruit isn't forbidden when it's delivered to your door in under 30 minutes. Vegas understood this once. The city's founders knew that difficulty created desire. They built an oasis in the desert specifically because the isolation made it feel like another world. But technology erased the desert. It brought the casino to your kitchen table. And in doing so, it stripped away the very thing that made gambling feel like an event worth celebrating. The journey was the point. The effort was the magic. Without it, Vegas is just another app competing for screen time. But if you think convenience ended the magic, wait until you hear what Vegas did when players started complaining about the experience. Number 9. Vegas stopped listening. For decades, Vegas players screamed into the void about what was destroying their experience. The nickel and diming that turned every interaction into a transaction, the slot machines getting tighter every year, the elimination of rewards that once made regular players feel valued. The complaints flooded TripAdvisor, Reddit, and casino forums. Millions of pieces of feedback painting the exact same picture. Vegas was becoming hostile to its own customers. And what did the casinos do with this goldmine of information? Absolutely nothing. The arrogance was breathtaking. While players begged for better odds, Vegas made them worse. While visitors complained about resort fees, casinos raised them higher. While regulars mourned the end of comps and free play, properties eliminated even more perks. Every survey, every review, every social media post told the same story: you're losing us. Vegas responded by doubling down on exactly what drove people away, convinced that 50 years of momentum would carry them forever. Meanwhile, online platforms built their entire business model on listening. They didn't just collect feedback, they weaponized it. Players complained about withdrawal times, fixed in 48 hours, wanted new games, added weekly, requested bigger bonuses. Here's 50% more. Every interaction became an opportunity to improve. Every complaint became a feature update. While Vegas demanded players adapt to them, online gambling adapted to players. Vegas thought people would keep coming no matter what, until they didn't. The city confused customer loyalty with customer hostage-taking. They assumed 50 years of tradition created infinite goodwill. Instead, they learned that loyalty without listening eventually becomes resentment. And resentment, unlike loyalty, spreads faster online than any jackpot video ever could. But even if Vegas starts listening tomorrow, it might be too late, because something happened in 2020 that changed everything. Number 8. The pandemic broke the spell, March 17, 2020. The day the impossible happened, Las Vegas, the city that never sleeps, went dark. For 78 days, the Strip stood empty. The silence was deafening. But while casino executives waited for the grand reopening, something fundamental shifted in the American gambler's mind. The pandemic didn't just close casinos, it rewired 2 decades of human behavior in less than 3 months. When Vegas shut down, 41 million annual visitors suddenly needed somewhere else to scratch their gambling itch. Online platforms saw what was coming. While MGM was laying off 18,000 employees, DraftKings and FanDuel were hiring thousands of engineers. While Caesars was boarding up windows, BetMGM was launching in 6 new states. By the time Vegas reopened in June 2020, the damage was already done. Players had discovered they didn't need the Strip to feel the thrill. The numbers are staggering. Online gambling revenue jumped 69% in 2020 alone. New account registrations increased by 94%. The average American who had never gambled online before suddenly had 3 betting apps on their phone. More importantly, they developed new habits: morning coffee with sports betting, lunch breaks with online poker, evening wind downs with digital slots. The casino had invaded every moment of their day, and Vegas wasn't invited. When the Strip finally reopened, it expected a tsunami of pent-up demand. Instead, it got a trickle. Occupancy rates struggled to break 50%. Gaming revenue fell 35% even after restrictions lifted. The crowds that did return looked different. They were older, fewer, and spending less time at tables. The younger demographic that Vegas desperately needed, they never came back. They'd found something better. A win dealer who worked through the reopening told me something haunting. The regulars who used to come monthly started coming quarterly. The quarterly visitors became annual. And the annual visitors, they just disappeared. We kept waiting for normal to return, but normal had already left the building. The pandemic taught gamblers a dangerous lesson. Vegas was optional. The mystique that had been carefully cultivated since 1941 evaporated in 78 days. Players realized the emperor had no clothes. The experience they'd been taught to crave could be replicated or even improved from their living room. The spell wasn't just broken, it was shattered. And once you see the trick behind the magic, you can never unsee it. Speaking of seeing through illusions, wait until you hear what happened when the corporations took over. Number 7. Corporate Vegas lost its soul. Remember when every casino had a personality? The Stardust with its cosmic charm, the Sands where Sinatra held court, the Desert Inn where Howard Hughes lived in mysterious isolation. These weren't just buildings, they were characters in Vegas's story. Each property had an owner whose name you knew, whose vision you could feel in every detail. Then the corporations arrived, and they murdered everything that made Vegas feel dangerous and alive. Between 2000 and today, Wall Street investment firms swallowed the Strip whole. Blackstone owns MGM's real estate. Apollo Global Management controls the Venetian. D Properties treats casinos like rental units. The family operations that built Vegas from sand and dreams? Gone. The Binions, the Boyds, the Sedonas pushed out by quarterly earnings reports and shareholder meetings. What replaced them feels less like Sin City and more like a sanitized shopping mall that happens to have slot machines. Walk through any modern Vegas resort today, they're identical. The same marble floors, the same LED screens, the same overpriced restaurants with celebrity chef names but ghost kitchen quality. The Bellagio, Aria, and Cosmopolitan blur together into one endless, soulless luxury experience. The theming that once transported you to ancient Rome or medieval England has been stripped away, replaced by what designers call contemporary elegance, but what feels like corporate emptiness. This sterilization pushed gamblers somewhere unexpected, back online, where gambling feels rebellious again. Crypto casinos operating from offshore servers, underground poker rooms on Discord, Twitch streamers betting millions while smoking weed on camera. The danger and edge that Vegas abandoned has been claimed by digital platforms that don't answer to shareholders or gaming commissions. They offer what Vegas used to, the feeling that you're doing something slightly forbidden. One former Caesars executive admitted to me off the record, "We focus grouped the fun out of Vegas. Everything's about maximizing revenue per square foot. We forgot that people came here to escape corporate America, not to gamble inside it." The numbers reflect this soul-crushing transformation. While Vegas revenue has grown, visitor satisfaction scores have plummeted. Reviews mentioning sterile, corporate, or soulless have increased 400% since 2015. Meanwhile, online gambling communities are thriving, with Reddit's gambling forums growing from 50,000 to 2.8 million members. They didn't just find new places to bet, they found new tribes that felt more authentic than anything modern Vegas offers. When the casinos became corporations, gamblers looked for freedom somewhere else, and they found it in the last place Vegas expected, their pockets. Number 6. The phone became the new casino. The smartphone did to Vegas what Netflix did to Blockbuster, but worse. Because Blockbuster just lost movie rentals. Vegas lost its monopoly on human attention, and with it, the foundation of its entire economy. The device in your pocket isn't just competing with the Strip, it's winning, delivering more dopamine per second than any casino floor ever could. Consider the psychology. Vegas casinos spend millions perfecting their environment. The oxygen pumped through vents, the specific frequency of slot machine sounds, the maze-like layouts keeping you disoriented and playing. But all that manipulation requires you to physically be there. Your phone, it follows you everywhere, pushing notifications at the exact moment your resistance is lowest. Waiting for the subway? Here's a free spin. Can't sleep? Your favorite poker table has an open seat. Bored in a meeting? Your parlay is about to hit. Mobile betting apps have weaponized convenience in ways Vegas never imagined. They know your betting patterns, your weaknesses, your precise psychological triggers. They send personalized offers when you're most likely to bite. They gamify the gambling, adding achievement levels and social features that make Vegas's reward cards look prehistoric. The average user checks their betting apps 28 times per day. That's once every 35 minutes they're awake. Vegas used to own your weekend. Now your phone owns every waking moment. The transformation happened shockingly fast. In 2018, mobile gambling was illegal in most states. Today, 38 states have some form of legal online betting. The average American has 3.2 gambling apps installed. Daily fantasy sports alone reaches 15 million players. Sports betting handle hit $220 billion in 2024, with 94% of bets placed on phones. Vegas's sports books, once packed on NFL Sundays, now echo with empty seats while millions bet from their couches. But here's the killer detail. Mobile apps have created entirely new categories of gamblers. People who would never fly to Vegas are betting daily. The friction is gone. The shame is gone. The 45-year-old soccer mom placing parlays during school pickup. The accountant trading crypto between spreadsheets. The college kid betting on Korean baseball at 3 a.m. They're not Vegas's customers, and they never will be. The phone didn't just become a new casino. It became the only casino that matters. And the generation that grew up with these devices, they never even considered Vegas an option. Number 5. The younger generation never fell in love. Vegas built its mythology on capturing each generation's imagination. The silent generation had the Rat Pack. Boomers had Elvis. Gen X had the mega resort boom. But millennials and Gen Z, they grew up watching Vegas through screens, and what they saw looked desperately uncool. To them, the Strip isn't a destination, it's a punchline. A place their parents go to pretend they're still young. A living museum of outdated excess. This generation didn't grow up saving quarters for slot machines. They grew up with unlimited entertainment in their palms. They didn't dream of Vegas weekend getaways. They watched influencers live stream their losses for content. The mystique that pulled previous generations like gravity means nothing to people who can virtually experience anything from anywhere. Vegas feels like a relic from an era when you had to leave your house to have fun. The statistics are brutal. Only 15% of Vegas visitors are under 30, down from 24% in 2007. The average age of a strip gambler is now 49 and climbing. While Vegas courts older demographics with residencies from 80s bands, young people are gambling in completely different ecosystems. Twitch gambling streams pull millions of viewers. Crypto casinos process billions in bets from players who've never touched a physical chip. Esports betting sites capture the attention Vegas desperately needs, but can't figure out how to attract. Even when young people do visit Vegas, they're not gambling. They're taking Instagram photos at the Bellagio fountains. They're attending music festivals that happen to be near casinos. They're using the Strip as a backdrop for bachelor parties, where the actual gambling is an afterthought. They spend 70% less on gaming than visitors over 40. To them, slot machines are what you walk past to get to the restaurant. One 26-year-old summed up his generation's view perfectly. Vegas feels like it's cosplaying as Vegas. Everything's trying. So hard to be iconic that nothing actually is. It's giving desperate energy. Meanwhile, I can bet on literally anything from my phone while watching the actual game with my actual friends. The cultural disconnect runs deeper than preferences. This generation values authenticity over spectacle, community over luxury, experiences over possessions. Vegas offers the exact opposite: manufactured excitement, isolation disguised as connection, and experiences that exist primarily to be posted online. They don't dream of the Strip, they dream of going viral. And Vegas, despite billions spent on social media marketing, feels algorithmically irrelevant. The younger generation never fell in love with Vegas because Vegas never gave them a reason to. But their rejection goes even deeper than apathy. They found something Vegas fears more than competition: alternatives that feel more real than reality. Number 4. The thrill shifted to crypto and esports. While Vegas was installing more ATMs with $9.99 transaction fees, an entire generation discovered they could gamble with cryptocurrency on platforms that didn't ask for their name, age, or social security number. They found communities on Discord where thousands gathered to watch Counter-Strike matches while betting Bitcoin. They joined Twitch streams where gambling became social entertainment. The thrill didn't just shift away from Vegas. It evolved into something the Strip could never understand or replicate. Crypto casinos exploded from non-existence to processing $250 billion in bets annually. No ID verification, no tax forms, no limits. Just pure, anonymous action available to anyone with an internet connection. Players can bet from restricted states, restricted countries, restricted ages. The very regulations Vegas claims protect players became the walls that locked them out. While MGM demands 3 forms of ID for a player's card, Stake.com processes million-dollar bets from usernames like Diamond Hands 420. But anonymity is only half the appeal. These platforms built something Vegas actively destroyed: community. On Twitch, gamblers don't bet alone in front of machines. They bet together, thousands watching the same stream, sharing wins and losses in real time. Discord servers function like virtual casinos where regulars know each other's strategies, celebrate each other's victories, and cushion each other's defeats. It's the neighborhood bar feeling that Vegas stripped away when it replaced dealers with screens. Esports betting captured the generation Vegas ignored. While casinos struggled to understand why anyone would bet on video games, platforms like Rivalry and Unicorn built entire ecosystems around League of Legends tournaments and Call of Duty matches. The global esports betting market hit $14 billion in 2024. Vegas's response? A single small esports arena at Luxor that sits mostly empty while millions bet on matches from their gaming chairs. The cultural divide is massive. Vegas sells marble, floors, chandelier bars, and celebrity chef restaurants. But younger gamblers don't want luxury. They want belonging. They want to bet alongside their favorite streamer. They want to celebrate wins in Discord voice chat. They want their gambling to feel like gaming, not like their grandfather's hobby. One crypto casino developer explained it perfectly. Vegas sold the illusion of luxury to make you feel special. We sell the reality of community to make you feel included. Guess which one resonates with people who grew up online? Vegas sold luxury. Online gambling sold belonging. And in an increasingly isolated world, Belonging wins every time. But while Vegas lost the young and digital native, it committed an even greater sin. It abandoned the people who lived there. Number 3. Vegas forgot the locals. The cruelest irony of Vegas's decline is that while chasing tourists and convention dollars, it completely abandoned the 2.3 million people who actually live there. The city that locals built with their labor, their loyalty, and their losses turned its back on them. And those locals found new places to gamble that actually wanted their business. Station casinos used to be where locals felt at home. Smaller properties off the strip where everybody knew your name. Drinks were actually free. And video poker machines weren't programmed to bankrupt you in minutes. Then came the corporate consolidation. Local casinos started mimicking strip properties. They installed resort fees at neighborhood casinos. They replaced full-pay video poker with tourist trap odds. They eliminated the buffet specials that families depended on. They turned local hangouts into mini-strip wannabes. The betrayal runs deeper than pricing. Vegas locals work the hospitality industry. They know exactly how badly tourists get fleeced because they're the ones doing the fleecing. They watch entitled visitors treat their city like an adult playground while their own neighborhoods deteriorate. They can't afford to eat at the restaurants where they work. They can't afford to live near the casinos they staff. They definitely can't afford to gamble at the tables they deal. So they turn to apps, not because they wanted to, but because Vegas gave them no choice. Online platforms offer locals what their own city won't: reasonable odds, deposit bonuses, and the ability to bet $5 without feeling judged. The bartender who deals with drunk tourists all night goes home and plays online poker where nobody screams at her. The valet who parks Lamborghinis, he'll never afford bets on sports from his phone because the sports book where he works requires $100 minimums. One local summed up the betrayal: Vegas stopped being for Vegas, and that's when it started dying. We built this city. We suffered through 115-degree summers and tourist abuse to make it special. Then they priced us out of our own home and wondered why we stopped caring. The statistics are damning. Local gambling revenue has dropped 40% since 2019. Neighborhood casinos report the lowest attendance in decades. Meanwhile, Nevada online gambling apps report that 67% of their users have Vegas zip codes. The very people who should be Vegas's most loyal customers are its biggest digital defectors. They didn't leave because they stopped gambling. They left because Vegas stopped seeing them. Vegas forgot a fundamental truth: cities that abandon their locals eventually get abandoned in return. But the abandonment went even deeper than ignoring residents. Vegas abandoned its core product entirely. Number 2. Marketing the mirage. Somewhere between 2015 and today, Las Vegas made a fatal miscalculation. It decided it wasn't in the gambling business anymore. It was in the Instagram business, the conferences business, the concert business, the celebrity restaurant business. Everything except the one business that built the city. Casinos became elaborate stages for social media content, with slot machines relegated to expensive set decoration. Open any Vegas marketing campaign from the last 5 years. You'll see aerial drone shots of pools, influencers posing with overpriced cocktails, EDM festivals with zero connection to gambling, food tours, shopping montages, and Cirque du Soleil performances. You know what you won't see? People actually gambling. The activity that generates 35% of strip revenue has become almost invisible in Vegas's own marketing, as if they're ashamed of what they actually sell. The properties themselves reflect this identity crisis. The Cosmopolitan devotes more space to restaurants than gaming. Resorts World built a shopping mall that happens to have a casino attached. The new Virgin Hotels Las Vegas literally hides its casino floor behind retail stores, like they're embarrassed it exists. Walking through modern Vegas feels like navigating a luxury mall where ATMs occasionally accept bets. Meanwhile, casinos pour millions into concerts and residencies that actively compete with gambling. Why sit at a blackjack table when Adele is performing? Why play poker when there's a UFC fight? Vegas created its own competition, then wondered why gaming revenue per visitor keeps declining. They turned gambling from the main event into background noise, then acted surprised when people treated it that way. The social media obsession made everything worse. Every design decision now revolves around creating Instagrammable moments. The Bellagio fountains exist primarily as selfie backgrounds. The high roller observation wheel generates more photo revenue than gambling revenue. Neon museum tickets outsell poker room entries. Vegas stopped selling the game and started selling the selfie. And selfies don't pay for billion-dollar casinos. One casino marketing director confessed the truth. We got so obsessed with attracting non-gamblers that we forgot gamblers pay the bills. We built properties for people who take pictures of casinos, not people who play in them. We marketed the mirage instead of the reality. And now the mirage is all we have left. The culmination of this confusion is properties spending $100 million on attractions that generate $10 million in revenue, while their gambling floors decay from neglect. Vegas marketed itself out of its own industry. But the deepest betrayal wasn't forgetting what they sold. It was forgetting what gamblers actually wanted to buy. Number one, the real addiction was control. Here's the truth. Vegas refuses to accept. The house didn't lose because online gambling offered better odds or bigger jackpots. The house lost because it misunderstood what players were actually addicted to. It wasn't the money. It wasn't even the thrill. It was control. And in a world where people feel increasingly powerless, online platforms gave them what Vegas took away: the ability to gamble on their own terms. Think about the Vegas experience today. You gamble when the casino is open. You play the games they offer. You bet the minimums they demand. You endure the environment they create. The cigarette smoke, the desperate energy, the manufactured chaos designed to keep you off balance. Every element is dictated by someone else. You surrender control the moment you walk through the door. And that surrender feels increasingly intolerable to people who customize every other aspect of their lives. Online platforms understood something Vegas didn't. Modern gamblers want agency. They want to choose their stakes from 10 cents to $10,000. They want to control their environment, whether that's a quiet bedroom or a busy coffee shop. They want to pause when they're tired, not when the casino kicks them out. They want to play drunk or sober, alone or with friends, dressed or in underwear. They want gambling that adapts to their life, not life that adapts to gambling. The customization goes deeper than convenience. Online platforms let players control their own limits, set deposit caps, schedule cool-off periods, ban themselves when needed, track every bet in spreadsheets. This isn't just harm reduction, it's psychological comfort. Players feel safer with controls they set than rules casinos impose. The illusion of self-regulation feels better than the reality of corporate manipulation. But the ultimate control online gambling provides is the power to leave without leaving. Close the app, click the X. The casino disappears instantly. No long walk of shame past tables that tempted you. No waiting for valets to retrieve your car while security watches. No plane ride home to contemplate your losses. Just instant disconnection when you've had enough. That escape hatch changes everything psychologically. Vegas demands pilgrimage in an age of instant gratification. It requires commitment when people won't even commit to full-length movies. It asks for presence when presence feels like the scarcest resource we have. The city built for escape became something you need to escape from. Vegas didn't just lose to technology, it lost to human nature. People will always choose control over spectacle, comfort over luxury, convenience over experience. The real addiction was never gambling. It was the feeling of being in charge of your own destruction. Online gambling delivers that feeling perfectly. Vegas, with all its rules and requirements and restrictions, never stood a chance.